100 trillion, guys.
People feel safe keeping the USD.
The gold coin solution, is it like, what do you think about it?
Which country has the world's worst currency?
I am a billionaire.
Inflation had gone to unprecedented levels, so we ended up abandoning the currency.
In 2008, 231 million % inflation rate.
This is Victoria Falls in Zimbabwe. Its picture is on the currency, and the locals call it the smoke that thunders. It is the world's widest curtain-like waterfall. It is located between two countries, Zimbabwe and Zambia. They are separated by this bridge, which was built over the falls by the British in 1905. The river that flows over it is Zambezi River.
All along the Zambezi.
In southern Africa, it is called River of Life. It crosses many countries before flowing into the Indian Ocean. Its length is half that of the Nile River. It crosses the bridge that separates Zambia and Zimbabwe. The waterfall was named after the British Queen at the time, Victoria, because this place was occupied by Britain. But when Britain left and Zimbabwe became independent, the story began. As corruption spread and the currency collapsed.
All over Africa.
Zimbabwe. Today we're in the capital city to know more about the currency.
20 trillion.
There's a lot of money here. They have no chill.
Brother, this is a lot, man. It's like Monopoly, yeah?
Yeah.
The central bank is right behind me, where banknotes are printed. This country suffered a lot. It printed a lot of banknotes. Its solution was only printing banknotes. This is $100 million. Can you imagine? They reached a trillion. A trillion. But this is not used anymore. Instead, they started using the dollar, the US dollar, and South Africa's currency. But now, how can they find a solution for this inflation? What will they do? When withdrawing money, you can't. There's a limit, can you imagine? They have no access to their account.
Yeah, they want to collect money.
Which country has the world's worst currency? It used to be Hungary in 1945 and 1946.
Hungary, the world record in inflation.
The second country was Zimbabwe. Here, several Arab countries are also suffering from inflation, among other countries in the world, as Sudan ranks third, followed by Lebanon and Argentina. Percentage varies from one country to another, as Venezuela, where we filmed, has the world's highest percentage. These are the old currencies. Zimbabwe has been the world's second highest inflation, until now.
Well, I'm ashamed to say at one point we used $20 trillion note. So 2009 is one of those historical laws in our country. Hyperinflation, you want to buy bread and, before you reach to the tailor, the inflation would have gone up by, more than 500%. Effectively, yes, on the way, the money that you have in your wallet, it will effectively be reduced to nothing. So it was one of those historical laws in our country.
Today we're in Harare, the capital of Zimbabwe. The country concerned the world for many years. When it was Southern Rhodesia, it was ruled by some white supremacists.
We have fought for our land. We have fought for our sovereignty, small as we are. We have won our independence, and we are prepared to shed our blood in sustenance and maintenance and protection of that independence.
It caused more concern after gaining independence from Britain through seizing white supremacist farms and properties and giving them to black people to manage and operate them.
I'm now going to have a reinforcement from Harare to come and take more farms.
We have to sell all the malata, I suppose, to try and get our money back and this sort of thing, and gum poles and what have you. We'll try and sell all that.
Because black people had no experience in agriculture and large farms management.
The consequence was that a country which was once regarded as the breadbasket of Africa began to starve. Harvests shrank, shelves were empty, and rampant inflation meant currency became virtually worthless.
As a result of US and UK sanctions on Zimbabwe, the country collapsed.
the Western countries, in particular the United States and the European Union, who imposed illegal sanctions against Zimbabwe.
US President Donald Trump says sanctions against Zimbabwe will stay in place.
The sanctions have crippled the economy.
These farms, among other economic activities, resulted severe economic crisis in the country. Since its independence in 1980 till today.
We don't want Mugabe, we want the goblin to go. He's a goblin.
Its currency collapsed, reaching astronomical numbers.
$100 trillion.
A 100 trillion Zimbabwean dollar note.
$100 trillion bill.
Today, Zimbabwe relies on the US dollar, the British pound sterling, and South African rand.
You take dollars and rands, you take dollar and euro. Would you accept Chinese currency?
The trust in Zimbabwean dollar was lost. Today, inflation in Zimbabwe reached about 250%, which is the highest in the world. It also suffers from a semi-permanent power outage. It imports power from neighboring countries, Mozambique, South Africa, and Zambia. In order to restore trust in its currency and make people use it again, Zimbabwe resorted to gold coins, sold by the central bank for a specific amount, by the local currency. The gold currency can be used anywhere in the world.
The African country had the world's second highest inflation. Zimbabwe.
Yeah, more and more of printing money.
When a country exaggerates in printing its currency, the currency depreciates, and the commodities prices rise based on the supply and demand, except the US dollar. Yes, only US dollar cannot be collapsed unless a world war breaks out. In the COVID-19 era, the US printed more than $7 trillion.
Congress just passed a $2 trillion rescue plan to tackle the economic pain the coronavirus is inflicting on the country.
We're going to do something that gets money to them as quickly as possible.
The currency did not fall, but why? The US paid salaries to all Americans. The US can print as much as it wants. In their homes, people got paid and the US dollar did not fall. But why? Because dollar is the world's strongest currency. The US dollar is the world's favorite trading currency. This is after World War II.
The reconversion of war plans to peacetime pursuits is going ahead at full speed.
When the US became a top. In the past, it was the pound sterling, when the UK was ruling the world.
A highly popular jingle explaining the new money has been often played over the radio.
I'm very, very rich, Muru. I am a billionaire.
But how you get the US dollar? Like, are you working?
Salary, yeah.
So you receive your money in US dollar?
In US dollar. People want to dollarize. People feel safe keeping the USD.
50 trillion. 50. I can't pronounce it because I'm not used to this number. Look at the number of zeros. 100 trillion. 100 trillion, guys. They printed it in 2008. 14 zeros. What is Zimbabwe doing now after using the US dollar for more than 10 years?
Central bank officials say the 22-carat coin
yes, gold coin
will help protect people's savings against inflation.
They tried to find a solution to restore trust in the old currency. So they minted 2,000 gold coins. You can use gold coins everywhere in the world. They minted the coins abroad, not here. All these 2,000 gold coins were sold. They minted them a month ago. The gold coin was displayed by their president. He displayed it like this. The gold coin is worth about $1,500 US, but you can only buy it with a local currency to restore trust in the local currency. So they minted 2,000 and they will mint more.
There is no another better product that can be used as a store of value other than gold.
Do you think that this gold coin is the solution? And should we, the Arab countries, do the same?
The gold coin solution, is it like, what do you think about it?
It's confidence that you need first. It's a trust. There has to be mutual trust between the government and the citizens. If there is no that trust, if there is no that confidence, then no solution you can put on the table is going to work. When you bring in a solution, the people are simply going to think that, look, we are getting back to to 2008, to an extent that people are even doubting that there is gold in those coins. Funny enough. So people need that confidence. People need to trust the government of the day for them to be able to trust their ideas.
Yes.
Without that trust, whatever solution, genuine as it may be, it will not work. I'll give you an example of Zambia. Zambia was at one point worse than Zimbabwe.
Just a neighbor country.
Yes, it need not to be long back, 2-3 years ago. You look at Zambia today, things have changed.
Yeah, corruption, it's a pandemic in Zimbabwe. Yeah. It requires everyone on board fight corruption.